Yo, what's good, guys? Yashara here, back with another video, man. Today I want to talk about attacking your traumas, attacking those things that haunt you in the back of your mind, those things that you've been putting off for years, not addressing, and thinking you're going to have healthy relationships without addressing it. I want to talk about why you need to, how you go about attacking your traumas, go about addressing them, and how can it help us excel in the best way that we can, reach our fullest potential, reach a state of happiness in life, reach a state of blissfulness and joy when we integrate the part of ourselves that we've been putting off to get to the next level in our lives, right? So what are traumas? This is my definition for it. Trauma is an event or events that occurred in the past that affected you negatively, and you weren't equipped to deal with them, so they are psychologically lodged in your brain and continue to dictate your behaviors in order to survive. So with trauma, there's going to be spaces, there's going to be people, there's going to be times where you're triggered and your body goes into a state of fight or flight, and your fight or flight responses may be anger, maybe any type of violence or any type of retreatment or any type of isolation, anything that your brain thinks you need to do in order to survive. Because when you're triggered, it's either I'm about to die or I'm either gonna live. So for your body to choose, most of the time, your body wants to live, right? So if your body needs to go into isolation, if your brain says I need to go to isolation in order to get over this traumatic experience or this trigger I just encountered, then that's what your default response is going to be. So I feel like once you become aware of your triggers and you address where they come from, then you can be able to manage and find healthy coping mechanisms in order to not let a trigger be a trigger to where you're in a depression or an anxiety or just not living in the present moment. So that's my version of the definition of trauma is to me. So your body reacts to such experiences mentally, physically, and spiritually and emotionally. So your body is going through a whole lot of things when it goes through trauma. So why is addressing them necessary for growth? I think for me, I know one of mine is abandonment issues. So I had to become aware first, then address it, see where it came from, and then make a conscious, intentional decision to change or alter those traumatic experiences in my past and try to see the good in them. And then even if there isn't any good in them at all, it's like, how can I deal with this in a healthy manner type joint. So addressing my abandonment issues is needed, because that's the only way. If I don't address them, I can't sustain a relationship with myself, with anybody else in the world, whether it be a friend, whether it be a woman, whether it be anything. I'm not gonna be able to sustain a relationship, because abandonment issues is really like the lack of abundance. And when you moving with a lack of abundance, you're moving in a scarcity mindset. You're moving in a scarcity mindset. You're taking more than you're giving, and you can drain people, and Nobody wants to be around it. Nobody wants to be around somebody who can't be around themselves, sustain healthy relationships with others or themselves, and throughout time maintain a relationship. Nobody wants to do that. So I had to address the abandonment issues once and for all. Well, not once for all, because you're gonna always get triggered. It's always gonna be there, right? So yeah, I had to address that, and I needed to do that in order to have a emotional stability, be able to maintain a healthy relationship with myself, maintain healthy relationship with parents, siblings, everybody in the world that I have a relationship with. So that's why I had to address my abandonment issues, because it's not healthy. Mr. People Pleaser, it's not healthy. All right, so why addressing and attempting to heal these traumatic experiences help you excel? Building healthy relationships with others, especially yourself, but in others too. You gain self-awareness and emotional freedom. When you're not as triggered as you used to be, you're able to move how you normally would if you weren't triggered. So once you become calloused to your trigger and you know what it is, then you can move a little bit better, because you know where it's coming from, and you know healthy coping mechanisms in order to move how you normally move. I can't even talk. Normally move. I'm trying to talk too fast. What else? More motivation to get closer with self. Once you get to a point where the things that used to trigger you don't trigger you no more, you get into that will make you feel happy inside. That will make you feel like you can withstand something. Your mental resilience has gotten better. So what does that mean? Once you get that one quick win, you're like, all right, bet. If I can knock that down, what else can I knock down? And then you just go down the rabbit hole of seeing what all you can fix and become the best version of yourself that you think you can be, right? So you will want to get way closer to yourself, because now that you see that you can overcome some things, you're like, hey, that's a real cool person right there, that they can get over that. So what else can I get over, and how can I get closer with them? So it can be one, right? So breaking unhealthy patterns and freeing yourself from addictions. So when you get triggered, you run to your addictions, you run to your vices, you run to those old habits, those bad habits. So when you address these traumas, you become aware of them, you address them, you find ways to cope with them in healthy manners. It's like everything that you used to do is not healthy for you, because when you go to your addictions, you're not solving the problem. You're not making the situation better for yourself. You're not making your emotional state more clear or more positive, right? So once you get out of these unhealthy patterns and getting closer to yourself and obtaining more emotional freedom, how is that not a good thing? I think that's a great thing for each and every one of us. So last one, healing reduces emotional and physiological burdens, allowing you to feel more like yourself and function better under distress. It reduces emotional and physiological burdens. So, like I said earlier, getting those calluses, you're reducing, like you said, the emotional distress and being able to function under distress. So it's like you have to heal so you can continue with your daily life. And I give you an example, like me, when I got out of my last relationship, I was stuck. I was stuck for a long time. I was stuck for about, I want to say a year, but I was really stuck for like 2-3 months. And I was just ruminating. I was doing I wasn't in a good spot. I was in a depression, if you want me to be honest. Like, I'm probably still coming out of a depression, if I want to be honest. That's why I'm able to make this video, or make these last couple videos. But it's once you heal from a thing. Oh yeah, I was talking about me and the depression. Yeah, being that was my first time having to deal with that, having to deal with past traumas, having to deal with my childhood traumas, having to deal with all that at this big age of 26, having to deal with all that at this big age, it hits harder than it would have at 19, 18, 17, 16. You feel me? So I was stuck, bro. I was stuck. I'm still a little bit stuck, but those first couple months, bro, I was out of it. I couldn't do nothing mentally. I was stuck, literally, mentally and emotionally stuck. So once you heal certain things, then you can move on. You can focus on you. You can focus on bettering yourself and getting yourself out of this mental, emotional rut. So that's why you need to heal, bro. So you can keep moving on with your life. You gotta move on. You gotta focus on you. You gotta keep improving you. And that's it, bro. That's it. So how to attack your traumas and begin to heal. This is my favorite part of the video. Let me tell you why. Alright, so you cultivate a healing circle of friends, family, and a therapist. When that got out that situation, my first thing, because I was so mentally stuck, bro, I had to go get a therapist because I don't feel like I have. Now I do, but then I didn't feel like I had enough people to talk to without burdening people. Have enough people to talk to about such situation. And because I was so stuck, I could talk about it for days and still not get out of my stuckness. So you have to have a healing circle, because if you don't have a healing circle with family, friends, or a therapist, if you don't have family or friends, get you a therapist. If you don't have the money to get a therapist, you might have to go into meditation. You might have to go into monk mode, which I'm finna talk about. So yes, you need a healing circle of people, whether that be family, friends. You need a healing circle of people to talk to get your emotions off, because it's good to get our emotions off and be able to express ourselves, allow ourselves to be vulnerable, because that's healthy for us. You need family, friends, or a therapist, man. So that's the first way. Find a creative outlet that doesn't rely on others, because others won't always be around. So I like painting. For some reason, like when it comes to the arts, when it comes to music, I'm not really a music head, but I like painting because as an introvert, I can go anywhere and do it by myself. Listen to music, whatever I want to do. So find your creative outlet. And I just started painting. Well, I ain't gonna say just now, but within the last like 2 or 3 years, just painting. So something so simple as painting. It's so freeing to me. And then I put on some R&B, some calming music. I'm in there. I'm good. My inner child is happy. So find your creative outlet, whether it be like working on cars. That can be a creative outlet. Painting, singing, making music, dancing. There's so many ways to express yourself. Try things out and figure out what works for you. All right, so free yourself from distractions. Like I said, if you ain't got no money for a therapist, you need to free yourself from distractions to really dive into your emotions. And when you free yourself from distractions and you really dive into your emotions, you have to be ready for that. When you That's big. When you have to address childhood traumas from way back, you 30, 40 years old, and you got to address stuff that happened at 9, 10, 11. That's hard to do in isolation. That's hard to do when you free yourself from distractions. So, but I think that's the most important step, though. I ain't gonna lie. When you sit down, when you come out in nature, when you sitting outside, and you just sitting and thinking, you got you a notepad, you journaling, and you just letting out your emotions. That's another one, journaling. When you letting out your emotions, that's the most important thing, because that's the part you've been avoiding. When you gotta sit there and you writing and you crying and you giving yourself speeches, bro, that's the hardest part, but that's what's gonna free you, for sure. And even if you gotta do that multiple times in order to get over a thing, because I know I have, I'm crying every other week because I'm sitting and going through my emotions and figuring out how to cope with it, understand it, and how to accept it. That's the biggest thing, accepting it. I have to do that multiple times a month because I'm really dialed in on locking in a new mindset. I'm locked in on trying to become the best version of myself. So I'm trying to get over it. I'm trying to radically accept who I am and what I've been through, and get on the other side of the people pleasing, getting on the other side of the being nice, get on the other side of avoiding conflict, getting on the other side of flashbacks, fear of abandonment, trust issues, anxiety, all of that. I'm trying to get on the other side of that. I'm trying to be as free as possible. Do you hear me? Be as free as possible. You see this truck? Be as free as possible. I'm free physically, but I need to be free mentally and spiritually and emotionally. So that's why I'm locking in, getting into isolation and freeing myself from distractions to really heal and accept who I am and what I've been through and what I'm going to do. All right, I just went on a rant. Take time to pour into yourself physically, spiritually, and mentally. So when I say pour into yourself, what is it? You need to get into your Bible, your Quran, your Tao Te Ching, your Bhagavad Gita, whatever your spiritual text is. You gotta dive into it. You need to align yourself with the Most High, God, Buddha, whoever you pray to. Spiritually locking in on and grounding yourself in your spirituality if you're a spiritual person. I think that's important as well. That might be the first one or the second one. Physically, if you don't work out, you need to physically invest into yourself. Physically try to empower yourself, whether that be working out. I think that's the best way, is working out, to be honest. You ain't gotta be a bodybuilder or nothing, but walking daily, getting your heart rate up, getting your blood pumping. All that releases stuff in your body to make you feel good when you exercise, bro. So invest in yourself physically. And me, buying clothes, because I didn't buy clothes, and now that I'm trying to get out, now I gotta go buy clothes because I don't have no clothes. So investing in yourself physically, whether it be clothing, exercising, doing yoga, doing boxing, whatever you're into physically, camping, whatever it is for you, invest in yourself. Pour back into yourself, and pour back into your hobbies, whether that be knitting, sewing, whatever you like to do physically. Invest in that. Pour back into yourself, and that's going to improve your mood. That's going to improve your self-esteem, I believe. So, and mentally, pour into yourself mentally. Affirmations, out in nature, getting a peace of mind, There's a lot of ways to reading books, watching movies, however you pour into yourself mentally in order for you to have a good mental mind state, and pour into yourself, bro, in all areas of life. Pour back into yourself, because that's gonna boost your self-esteem. That's gonna remind you of who you are. Remind you are somebody. Remind you that you are somebody worth investing into. Reminding you that you are somebody. So pour back into yourself, bro. The last one is grounding exercise to get in tune with your body, whether that be getting into nature, practicing breath work, doing yoga, grounding in the grass, getting in tune with your body, getting in tune with doing calisthenics. There's all types of ways to get in tune with your body. Breathing, meditating, all of that helps you, because that rewires your nervous system. That helps you regulate your emotions. I learned about that today, regulating your emotions. So when you ground, when you're in nature, when you in grass, when you are near, let's say you go to a river, go to anything where the natural elements are involved, that's how you get in tune with your body. Because like you, a physical self, everything, these trees, these grass, all of this is physical. These are physical things. So even if you hugging yourself, there's all types of ways to get in tune with your body and regulating your emotions. And I'm just not learning about this today. Like, I gotta dive deeper into it, but I've always been doing breath work and grounding exercises and being in nature, so it's not too foreign to me. But tap into those, man. Tap into those and see what works for you. Like, all of this is just a suggestion. All of this is advice from me to you to help you get over traumas, get over things that could be holding you back from years ago that still traumatizes you today. When you get certain triggers, you still go from 0 to 100. Yeah, address that stuff, bro, because you can't reach higher levels of understanding, higher levels of abundance without it. You just can't. You gotta, I think in Soul said in his book, The Battle with the Pasture, you can't get to a certain level without facing those demons. So I'm gonna end it up here, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. Attack those traumas, bro. Appreciate you guys for watching, man. I'm out of here. Peace.